Welcome back to Two Canadians at Kafe Lise, a Vigor podcast. Episode 37, Viktorsen Station. We are your hosts. I'm Dr. Anton, and with me is DJ Spencer. Dr. DJ Spencer, I almost said. I don't know why.
I just earned my doctorate.
Yay! Sweet. Yeah, so we're doing a map one. Before we get too far into it, please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to comment. We appreciate it, and it helps. Every little bit helps. And even rating us in like Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or any of those podcasting aggregators couldn't hurt either. Help us gain a little bit more exposure. But that's all good. If you don't, it's okay too. No pressure. But yeah, we're gonna be doing a map. It's like our second last map. We're almost done all the maps. So we're getting there until they release the next one, which is going to probably not be for like who knows, like a year or more. Who knows? They haven't announced anything, so not official.
Yeah, they're pretty tight. Yeah, they're pretty tight-lipped about map development. Yeah. So I would gander maybe not a year. I would say 6 months.
You never know. Sometimes it can be quick.
I'd be a waging man.
You'd be a waging man 6 months. I don't know. 6 months is like not even like 2 seasons now. So yeah.
So okay, so 2 seasons from now, there's going to be a new map.
Maybe. Prediction. This is prediction. You heard it here. It's not official or anything, but and as we're recording, it's Easter weekend. So right now in the cosmetic store, there's a whole bunch of Easter stuff. They released don't have any pictures to show of it, but they released the fishing trousers, pants / boots in pink for Easter. They have a couple of different bunny masks, like rabbit masks. One looks kind of like with blood on it or something. Another one's like a chocolate version of it.
The Killer Bunny from Phil Canton.
Killer Bunny from Phil Canton.
That's the name of like one of the lines.
Is it?
The series. So one of them. So like the yellow hoodie, which you haven't mentioned yet. Sorry, I'm jumping the queue.
That's all right.
The yellow hoodie says like want a bite out of me, and there's a chocolate bunny with like a bite out of it, and on the back says come get it with the Vigor V. I love that one. It was in the item shop, and I was not at home that day, so
oh no,
I missed out. So I'm hoping it's going to be back. But yeah, I love that one, and so that whole series. I call it series, but I don't know if that's what you want to call it. But the title is called Killer Bunny from Phil Canton, I believe. And then the pink trousers, I'm not sure if that's the same thing or is it just, I think it's just pink trousers. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I'm not sure either. But even the white mask has, like you notice it has like a little bite taken out of the ear. So it's the same. It's obviously the same mask, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, it's kind of with a little bit of blood on the mouth, but then the chocolate one's just straight brown. And then there's a few different weapon skins they've released in the shop, like in the daily rotation. I've seen it for like the Raffica. I've seen it for something else too, and I'm not sure if that shows up in the. Did you check the weapon shop, weapon cosmetic area? If the Easter ones,
I believe it is in there too.
It is.
Yeah, I believe it is in there too.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, there's the yellow hoodie, which is really nice. I really like that one. Sort of to go with the one that they released in the Hunter Prey pack, which is like the pink version. Now they have the yellow one, which is nice. Was there anything else? Well, I mentioned there was a backpack. It looks like it has like the Easter colors, like all the different kind of bright colors, but it's like spray painted, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So a few little things. It's kind of neat that they did that for Easter.
Yes. Yeah. And like this is probably part of those monthly updates that they were talking about doing, right? When they did the 2022 roadmap. So it's definitely kind of nice because like we've talked about it before, the community's been asking for like themed or holiday themed like skins, cosmetics and whatnot. So it's nice to be getting these kind of things. And I'm going to push the idea again.
Right?
I want weapon skins sold as a set.
Yes, we'll keep mentioning
Please,
it for sure because that'd be
please.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, instead of these ones or twosies, and yeah, just do a complete.
yeah,
All the weapons have the ability to get it.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah.
Maybe if they just started from a certain point where it's like, say, like, okay, Easter set or Easter, you could buy it as a whole set because we talked about it before, right? Oh my god, I lost my
Yeah.
arm. Oh my god. Green screen. Anyways, yeah, maybe because some of the older weapons, right, they were individually done instead of the weapon wrap. So maybe at a certain point they just do a cutoff where it's like, okay, from now on, sold as a set, and then all the historical ones like either discount them or just leave it as is.
Or even if they did
And,
like a special thing in the shop as a set, like every once in a while release, here's a set of this skin for everything.
mhm.
Um if they didn't make it like a regular thing, make it a special thing every once in a while for people to be able to get them all for like the same skin for every gun kind of thing. It would be kind of
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
But yeah, that's now I guess if you count Christmas, 3 different
yeah.
holidays that they've released stuff for, right? Because there was Christmas, then there was St. Patrick's Day, now Easter.
Oh, Halloween! Don't forget Halloween.
Oh yeah, 4 now. Halloween. I forgot about Halloween. Um,
Yep.
Nothing for Valentine's Day, which is fine. Well, maybe some people would have liked something for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, yeah,
I was about to say Valentine's Day is commercial, but then all holidays are commercial. So
yeah. Pretty much at this point.
yeah, yeah. What can you do? I don't even. And what would be
Yeah.
next? Like a big thing between now and Halloween. I'm sure there are. Like,
Uh,
there's a lot of holidays. There's almost one every month or every other month. But
well, yeah, it all depends on like if you want to go country based or whatnot, right? Because in
yeah,
July you have the 4th of July, you have
for the
Canada
states,
Day,
Canada Day for
you have
Canada. Yeah,
so May. It's like we have Victoria Day in Canada, but I'm like I don't
I
think
know that's
that's
the
going to be
thing, right?
celebrated
Yeah,
worldwide.
it's like
But
it's
anyway,
funny because you
anyways,
think like St. Patrick's Day. That's one that really took off and went all over the
yeah,
world, right? But
yeah,
then again, there are some religious connotations to it. So like a lot of them are like mostly religious themed, right? Like Easter,
yep,
St. Patrick's
oh
Day,
yeah,
Christmas, except for
yeah,
Halloween. Well, Halloween's like a pagan kind of thing almost, though. So
yeah. I don't know. I'm
I guess we're
curious.
not getting a Arbor Day or something like that. Or we don't have Arbor Day. I don't know, but yeah,
Maybe we got to do research about like Norwegian holidays in May or
yeah,
maybe Czech related ones in May and June, April, May,
yeah. Try to
June,
get some more
July. Yeah,
options out
yeah,
there. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Figure it out.
yeah.
Or it might be a generic thing like a spring Vigor spring
Well, then you
line
could go like the
2022.
solstice, right? Like the first day of spring,
Oh,
spring solstice,
yeah.
whatever, and then the same with fall. So yeah,
Wait,
those
we're
are summer
summer solstice. Okay,
is next. Yeah,
so we
that's in
need
June.
May. Yeah,
Hmm.
so we need something
Yeah,
for May.
there we go.
Okay,
We're working on it.
yeah. Thank you for
um,
tuning in to episode 37, the
when we talk
Easter
about
update
holidays,
and
yeah,
holidays.
yeah.
Okay,
All right, but yeah,
here's the
let's
map.
get yeah, let's get into Viktorsen. One of my favorite maps. I always
Yeah,
try to, I'm always happy when it's up, and then I definitely try to go to it. So it should be fun.
same.
Yeah. Um, 19 different locations around the map, 2 locked exits, which we'll discuss near the, after we've gone through all the different locations. And it's a big map.
Yep,
Like when you're
it
looking
is.
at the area, like it's wide, it's tall, it takes you quite a bit of time to if you start one side to get to the other. It sometimes they'll put like signals in a location. If you're on the opposite end, you're not getting near it.
Oh,
Yeah,
like even at that, there's a few signals locations on this map. Like, if you're by tent or like, uh, was it Outpost? I think.
yeah.
Most of
Outpost
the
is in the
time,
middle.
signals is.
That one's not too bad.
Oh, sorry, Forest Outpost. Then,
Yeah,
those ones are not getting used often, in all honesty, just because of the placement, and they're out of the way, to be
Yeah,
honest. So
they'll get
unless you
used
get
at
a spawn
first.
point right next to it, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
someone will start near
So
it,
that's
they'll use it, and then that's it. Like maybe someone else might run up to it
yeah,
later,
yeah,
yeah, we'll just start with the first one, which is rest area. Um, sort
yeah.
of in the it's like probably the northernmost one, but it's off to the west there, and
Yeah.
it's like a little camping area, not camping area, but like the kind of thing that you would pull into if you're doing like a day trip or a vacation kind of trip.
A rest
It
stop.
has picnic tables. Yeah, it has picnic tables, a phone booth, a little shed there. But as far as the kind of stuff that you'll find there, fuel, electronics, food, car loot. There's quite a few cars just in like the little
Mhm.
parking area that you can search, and good car loot in those ones. Like you'll find the tools,
Yep.
transmitters, jammers, mortars, and portable signals are all possible to be found there.
Yeah, and that's only been like the last, like, I want to say last 2 or 3 seasons
Yeah,
where
maybe.
those really started like popping up. Because before it was
Yeah,
like you'd loot the cars and it's like either you get like just metal parts or maybe like an electronic, but like the last couple seasons, boom, it's like really really good. And
yeah,
it's one of these spots that is like, you're looting a vehicle, you might set off the alarm. I would say this is well worth it just because
yeah.
of like the stuff you can get um, out of them.
There's yeah, and there's quite a few spawns right around it. Like
Mhm.
just off to the west of it, there's at least one. Up to the little bit north of it, there's one or two different ones. So there's a few
Yep.
different spawns right near it. So if you
Yep.
head towards it, there's a good chance you're going to find somebody.
Yeah.
If it's a full
A little
lobby, for
south
sure.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, a little south too. Yeah. What else is there? There's also the disruptor can be there. Um, you can find the big the locked container lootable event isn't too far from it. Just up, you have to go up some
Hmm.
stairs to the road, and that's one that's a lot of people spawn near there. And if that locked container is there, they'll head right for it. So
Oh yeah.
that's a fight zone. Get rid of a fight.
Oh yeah. Definitely a hot spot.
Yeah. So it's a if you start near it, definitely go check it out because there's a lot of really good stuff around there.
Yeah.
There's also like we were talking about the different kinds of things you can loot. There's one of those blue transformer boxes sort of behind the rocks right there, but that one doesn't usually
Hmm.
have anything in it. But on top, you'll find nails usually. But
Yep.
then just to the north and a little bit east of that one is another one of those blue transformer boxes that has electronics and wire and some other vehicles around it. So a lot
Yeah.
of good stuff right
And
there.
and I know, Doc, like we've talked about this way back in the past, like even prior to like the podcast.
Yep.
Like I we like personally, I love it. I'm pretty sure you like it too. You Because when you get that rest area, that spawn point, if you basically go west to east, you could follow a line of like
Hmm.
transformer boxes all the way, and you could hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then if you get to like transformer station, that we're going to talk
Yep.
about later on, like that's another two more. So it's like you're hitting a ton of transformer boxes, so you're getting a ton of
Yep.
wire, and like I love that looting route. Like
Yeah. It's
there,
a great spot.
there's some, yeah, there's some
Yeah.
really good looting routes, and this is one of them,
Yeah.
on station.
And I didn't mention there's also the possibility of finding a red crate with a drop in it. Usually around the picnic tables. Uh,
Yeah,
so in this area. Yeah.
yeah. And that,
So
like, if you get
that's
that
oh,
spawn and it's there, it's like
mhm.
boom. It's like you head for that north exit, boom, you're like free and clear. Like
Yeah.
ridiculous. It could be in out. So
Yep, for sure. Next one is
tent.
yep.
So tent, we are all the way on the left hand side, east side of the map, right, pretty much north of the exit or northwest of the eastern exit.
Yeah.
Um, the, there's not a whole lot there. It's like there's a tank in a tented area. Um, there's also like one of the wooden watchtowers there as well.
Hmm. Yep.
Um, there there's not a ton of stuff there. Like you could get like weapon crates, um, but aside from that, like signals is there. It's one of those signal towers that you want to be careful of because there's a lot of trees nearby,
Yeah.
and uh, you never know if someone's within those trees. There's a couple spots on this map that that's the case, but other than that, it's one of those spots that if signals isn't there, people aren't going to go check it out because
Yeah.
there's not much there.
Yeah, and this is that, and when you look at this map, it's sort of like divided the way that the exits are. There's three sort of at the top at an angle, going from north to sort of to west. Kind of, there's those three exits. And at the bottom, there's four exits, but then in between, there's not a lot, right? And so it's kind of up and down those exits. It's kind of interesting how that is.
Yeah, you mean
Yeah.
three at the bottom, right?
Well, well, I guess the eastern one or western one, I guess you could say. I almost counted it as a
Yeah,
bottom, but it's not really. There's the west. There's
yeah,
three at
it's
the
like even
bottom,
with
and then
these.
there's the
Yeah,
western one. Yeah.
yeah, two on the sides. Okay,
It
sorry,
almost,
I was like,
yeah, it almost looks like a skin to me. Like, how when you get those skins that people put on their floors or are on their walls of a skinned animal. This sort of looks like
oh,
that to
okay,
me a
yeah, yeah,
little bit, the way it's sort of laid out.
okay,
I don't know.
I can kind
I'm
of see
just
it.
reading stuff into it, I guess. Looks like a skinned
Okay,
animal to me, that map. But okay. So yeah,
so
that
yeah,
was
that's
tent.
10.
Yeah. Next, then we are jumping back and forth a bit. I sort of grouped these like as if there's something close by to something that we're talking about, then that's usually where we'll go, and then we'll jump from group to group. But
Yep.
the next one is right by tent, and that's Transformer Station. Transformer Station is actually quite big because it's really almost two sections. There's the upper part, then there's like a teeny road, and then there's the lower part. And we kind of consider that both Transformers Station. Um,
Yep.
and there's a lot there. There can be. Well, it's mostly, there's electronics, wire, metal parts, fertilizer, food, and some car loot. In the upper section, there's like a little shed. That shed can have a combination lockbox in it and maybe some other loot. Just outside that shed in the little trees, there's a dig spot. So you'll quite often
Yep.
you can find that dig spot. There's the lock container can be just outside that shed, just sort of behind it, and it's not too far from tent.
Yeah.
And that's also another one that big fights happen at because there's a few
Yeah.
different spawns right near it.
Yeah, honestly, that is probably my one of my least favorite lock
Yeah.
containers of like the whole game, not just this map, the whole game, because it's like there there's usually someone in the trees.
Yeah.
There's got to be, and it's
You,
like
you could start right
for
next to it, and there could be someone in the trees.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's so weird, and like what so personally what I do if I'm ever like in the area, like I will not force myself to go there. But if I'm
Yeah.
close by, what I like to do is so if you're looking at the map, you have like just north of it, there's the edge of the map,
Yeah.
north of the container, right? So I'll actually try to head up there and then kind of circle around towards tent just because I don't want to be approaching from the west or the south and try to get pinched because
Yeah.
I die a lot if I do that. So I've kind of learned from all my mistakes and all my deaths that you go
Yeah.
up there and then that way it's like you could kind of like eye people, if they go into the trees or ping them or whatnot. So just word to the wise, just be very careful at this
Yeah.
location. So
Yeah. Yeah. In the upper part still, there's a couple of those blue transformer boxes we were talking about before. So you'll find wire, maybe electronics in those ones, but definitely wire. And there's metal and wire usually around it. You cross the road to the lower part of that, you'll find an abandoned tank. There'll be like a comm station, another shed that can have um, fertilizer, the possibility of a
yeah,
red crate in that shed, and then across another little bit of a road is the rest of this whole area, and then there you'll find fertilizer, another blue area, another potential area for the locked combination crate in the little garage there, and the car
yeah,
loot is like a little sort of um, abandoned truck chassis you can sometimes get some
Yeah.
stuff out of.
Mhm.
So all those 3 little sections sort of make up this transformer station, and a lot of
Yeah.
good loot there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I was just saying not too long ago, if you make a line from basically rest
Yeah.
area to this spot, it's
You'll be
Transformers
set for
galore.
wire and electronics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is such a good route on this map. So next we're going to talk about Forest Cabin. So this is on the western side.
Yeah, way over west.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way on the other side. Uh, so um, this there's not a whole lot here.
No.
Like there's weapon crates. There's quite a few weapon crates inside. There's usually like the large wardrobe where you could usually get a shotgun out of, or at least a pistol. There's not a ton resource wise, but you can get some food from there. And aside from that, there's Disruptor Tower,
Hmm.
and there's a couple of dig spots nearby,
Yeah.
depending on which direction you go to. But that's pretty much it for Forest Cabin.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, sort of behind the cabin and up in the little hilly part just in the trees. There's like a dig spot there, and then farther
yeah,
back there's another one. So it's
yeah.
a few dig spots not too far. And there's also
Oh,
a
and yeah, I was going to say
oh
there's a feeder if you go west
yeah,
of it. There's a feeder, and then the feeder sometimes has a lockbox too.
yeah.
Forgot about. I always
Yeah,
forget about
I was
that.
just about to say there's that feeder,
One.
and that feeder can sometimes have a few things, like a weapon crate maybe, and
Yeah.
or a
It
couple
has
other
like one of
things.
those
Yeah,
blue, yeah, it has like a blue container that you could find in it, and then
yeah,
obviously some food. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Forest Cabin.
yeah,
Lackluster.
yeah. It's not the best, but it's not far
It's not the
from
worst.
some stuff. No, it's not the worst, and
Yes.
it's not far from a bunch of stuff. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. Because next is the Barricade, which is just up on the road, just to the east of Forest Cabin, and there can be a bunch of stuff. Like there, you'll
Mhm.
find fuel, metal parts, weapon crates, nails, all around the tanks and barricades right there. And another location where the lock container can appear. And again, another really this one's not so bad. Like it is like a contested one. Like a lot of people will run here,
Yeah.
but it's not usually if you're starting near it, you can usually get to it and maybe even loot it before other people show up. So
Yeah.
there are spawns not far from it, but depending how close you are, you might be able to get in and out really quickly with this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's
Yeah.
so from the lock container, you're literally just north of the barricade, like less than 100 meters, and it's like that one. If you get that, you can get in and out by the time someone comes. But
Yeah.
it's like you have people at Lakeside Resort. There's one just north of Forest Cabin. There's one south of there. Like
Yeah.
there's quite a few spawns that are nearby, but a little far enough that you can loot it.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And then after that one,
Next is Lakeside Resort. So Lakeside Resort actually has like quite a good variety.
mhm,
You get electronics because there's like one, two, three buildings plus like a garage,
yep,
and then there's a couple of military vehicles. There's like a boat, but the boat you can't loot. So, but you can get like electronics, chemicals, food, uh, glass, metal parts, nails, wire. So a little bit of everything.
mhm,
There's actually quite a few dig spots there. There's one right
yeah,
by it, like the building that has the dock on top of the rocks. And
yep.
then if you go um,
Just south of
east,
that building as
yeah,
well. Oh,
southeast of that eastern building, um, there's one on top of the rocks.
yeah,
And then, yeah, in the forest, just south of where the docks are, there's another one there in the forested area. So
yeah.
there's quite a few dig spots there. Um, there can be combination lock boxes in pretty much any of those buildings
I
that are
think you
there.
can spawn in any of them. Like you don't, they
Yeah,
don't usually have more than one, but it can
no,
show up at any of them. Yeah,
yeah, pretty much all of them. Here you can get signals, time vault, comm station. So quite a bit of everything.
Yeah,
And there's usually, like we are just talking about the spawn points, there's one usually on the south side, one on the north side, and then sometimes potentially on the east side too. So you could really have like 3 people
yeah,
rushing there if there's like, a number of these items here, or
yeah.
the
Yeah,
events or
it's really
whatnot.
popular if there's anything here, like if there's any kind of marker on here, people will come to it. If there's
Yeah,
not, then you might have a chance of being able to loot it, safely.
yeah.
But if there's anything
And
here, people are coming to it.
yeah, I find Calm Station might not lure some people, but yeah, you're right, Doc. It's like like signals there, boom. It's like people are going to go. If
Yeah.
time vault's there, boom. Like people are going to go. One little tip for anyone. So the building with the docks, or with the one dock,
Yeah.
um, there's some stacked crates on the southern portion of the like balcony, or the the deck. If you could actually jump onto the ones that stacks into two, and you could actually jump onto that roof.
Yeah.
So if someone comes towards like the comm station or whatnot, or even towards signals, if you're there quick enough and then you're on the roof on the opposite side, you could kind of like sneakily get them.
And look for the
Tactically,
chemicals by those crates too, because
oh
you
yeah,
can find chemicals
yeah,
in those crates. Yeah. I think that's one of
yeah.
the few places you can get chemicals at this location.
Yep.
Yeah.
And usually the food crate is there too, but yeah, the chems are more valuable. Everyone
Yeah.
wants the chems.
Everyone wants the chems. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But it's a good location. And yeah, with 2 to 3 spawns near it,
yeah,
there's usually a fight.
yeah. Oh, and you could actually jump onto the roof of the northeastern building too, from the rocks. So if you
Mm.
holster your weapon and then you run and then you jump, you could actually jump onto the corner of the rock. So you could actually get onto that building as well.
Okay. I never tried that. So makes
Yeah.
sense though,
Yes.
because
That one's a
there's
little
some good
tougher.
clearance. Yeah. Yeah. That one's a bit tougher. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, after Lakeside Resort is the lake house. So we're going into the middle of the map now.
Yeah.
And this is another one that can get quite busy, especially like if Bard House is there, because it's a very popular Bard House. So and there's people spawning all the way around, sort of funneling into
Yeah.
that area. So it can be really busy. But you'll find food. There's food around the outside of it, and garbage cans and various
Yeah.
places. Glass
Yeah.
inside, fertilizer inside. Just it's a
Outside
standard kind of
too.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can have a combination lockbox in the kitchen area,
Yeah.
glass in the kitchen area like usual.
Yeah.
But if it's a barred house, then the safe's going to be in the
Yeah.
main living room, living area area. But then it's also quite exposed because out one side is like the lake, which is totally open. Out the other
Yeah.
side looks up into the train tracks and the outpost area. So that again, if anybody's up there, they're looking down at you. They have a good sight to you. So you
Yeah.
really got to be careful with this one. Yeah,
Yeah. 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 This one.
a lot of
Yeah.
trees around it too for
And
people to hide in.
it, if you're looking for weapons too, sometimes the kitchen, knives,
Yeah, knives.
the odd
Yeah,
pistol. Yeah. The odd pistol. But yeah,
yeah. And
in case
I'm
anyone.
not sure if the you might find a pistol in one of the bedside tables too sometimes. I'm not sure. This is
Yeah.
the kind of house that would have that, so I don't know if this particular one does
Hmm.
sometimes. So, yeah,
Not sure.
but the lake house. So it's a
Yeah.
yeah, bard house. That's the big thing that can spawn here.
Oh yeah. Next is the outpost. So Doc kind of just mentioned it.
Mhm.
So literally just up the hill, east, pretty much east, a little
A
bit
little
south,
bit.
but
Yeah.
mostly east. Uh, Literally, you have like almost like a cliff. You could still like kind of traverse up it,
Hmm.
but there's a little like rail, and basically like there's a military truck with a bunch of weapon crates. You can get fuel. Signals is there. There's a cash spot like literally right
Right
there.
by
Like if you
signals.
miss that,
Yeah.
yeah, if you miss that cash spot, I'm sorry, I
You're
cannot help
blind.
you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
cannot help you find this cash spot if you can't see it.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so and if you go just south of it, there's some like really good blue transformer boxes where you get electronics and wire. Um, but it's kind of that's pretty much it for the immediate area. You have to be careful because
Hmm.
so you have the trees, we kind of mentioned it earlier, signals,
Yep.
signals and trees. There's literally a bunch of trees right there, so you got to be careful. You also have to be careful because the train tracks are behind you and above,
Above you.
and
Yep.
the issue is they have high ground on you, and there's actually a little fence along
Hmm.
there too, so they could be hiding behind the fence, and then as you're hitting signals they could pop out. And there's also like I don't want to say it's like a waterway or something like that underneath the train
Well,
tracks,
underpass, waterway
right?
kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, I guess it would be an underpass, right? Because there is a
Yeah.
truck there, so it must have driven there on
Yeah.
something.
It must have got there somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, so it's got
Yeah.
to be a road. So the underpass is there too, so it's like someone could easily be on the other side. Um, so and this is one of those like it's a very useful signal detector location. You just got to be very careful and cognizant of like your surroundings and whatnot. Um, but there is a lot of good stuff nearby for sure.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. At some point, we got to talk about like the unnamed locations here because there is a ton of good loot spots. We could talk about it later though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Because there's like, yeah, these are the named locations, but right near all these named, like especially Outpost, there's all these houses on the other side of the tracks,
yeah,
which are just full of good stuff. Yeah, that's what you're talking
yeah,
about. Yeah.
yeah,
But the next named one is the Islet, which there's like nothing there. There's a dig
yeah,
spot,
yeah,
like it's like a little islandy area, like on the side of the lake, the frozen lake. It has a path going away and from it, and yeah, there's a dig spot there. There might
yeah,
be a few other things that could pop up there, but we're not 100%
yeah,
sure. Like we found
yeah.
reference to weapons crates. I don't remember weapons crates,
No,
and it's one of those things. I don't check it every game, so it's like I
yeah,
never go there unless the dig spot's there.
yeah, exactly, because it's so exposed. And
It
like
is,
the
yeah,
only other thing I could think of is like one of those consumable crates. That's the only thing I could think of, but I'm not even
right.
100% sure because, like you just said, I I
Never go
barely
there.
go there unless the cash
Yeah,
spot is there. So
yep. So
yes,
that's Islet, as quick as it was.
yes. So then we're going to the scrapyard. So that's just west or east, sorry,
Yep,
of
on the other side of the
Islet. So
tracks.
on top of the hill, yeah, other side of the tracks. Um, there's kind of like a burnt down building, which can have chems and metal parts. There's metal parts and chems also like on a stack of like cinder blocks. There's a bunch of like trash bins. I want to call it trash bins, but it's like the scrap bins,
Right.
right? Uh,
Yeah.
so around there's like metal part containers. There's some nails. There's also like a bulldozer type thing where there's nails as well. So you guys could like run around there. Uh, it's it all the it, it's like it all comes back to like how far do you want to spread out? So like if we go
Yeah.
south of that scrapyard, there's like the longhouses, and the longhouses just south of here are like fantastic for like chems and glass. Like if anyone needs chems and glass and station is up, it is an absolute like good map to go for because overall the loot is like very good. So like you could easily get like stacks of like 29, 30 glass out of these buildings and whatnot. So it's very well worth it. You could get combination lock boxes, um, as well as like fertilizer. So it has everything.
Yeah.
This is another one of these good looting routes where you know if you kind of just follow the train tracks in these long buildings, you're going to get like decent to above average loot. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah,
And this is part of the spot where we want to start talking about those houses because we're going to go away from this area and
Mhm.
there's that whole section of houses just sort of north of the scrapyard, that don't really have any kind of name spots around them, but there's a lot there. There's quite a few dig
Yep.
spots littering those houses, a couple that are near swing sets. So if
Yep.
there's like two different swing sets that have dig spots near them.
Yeah.
There's transformer boxes on the road that have a dig spot near it. The house just to the north of Scrapyard can also have the time safe.
Yep.
And then there's a few other houses that can have the time safe. And I'm not sure about Bard, but definitely time
Bard's at the
safe.
top of the hill. Yeah.
At the top of the hill. Oh yeah, that's
Yep.
right. There's one at the top of the hill from there.
Yeah, in the shed.
Um, in the shed. Yeah, that'll have could
And
have
then the
Bard.
greenhouse on top of the hill too. Can
Hmm.
have Bard in the upper floor.
Yeah, on the upper floor, you can find lock boxes there. Lots of different. There's like comm stations that'll spawn near there. Um, Up north a little bit more, down from that greenhouse, is another house that can have the time safe. It can
Yep.
have
The
lots of
L-shaped house,
fertilizer
right?
around there. Which one?
It's an L-shaped building,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, okay.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one.
that one.
Disruptor's there too sometimes.
This disruptor can be there. A little bit more north from there, just across the road. The path we were talking about will take you by this red house that can have signals, and that
Yep.
red house is really good too because it has a lot of glass in it, a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
glass actually. Um,
Yep.
it can have fuel near it. There's a little garage that can have a lockbox, little shed that can have some metal, but then outside where the
Yep.
signals can be, there's like metal and fertilizer. So it's just all these
Oh yeah.
houses have quite a bit of loot.
There's a couple of houses that could have the red crate. Uh,
Yep.
like it's such a good map for looting, and like you said, this is one of those good loot runs. And like I've come out of station with like 350 400 glass,
Yeah.
on like
Yeah.
even like just a couple boosted lobbies type thing. It is just super fantastic when it comes to loot. And it comes down to like knowing your maps, right? Like Doc and I know our maps. We know, where to go loot and like which routes to take and whatnot. And it's overall like this is what makes Station one of my favorite maps.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, for sure. You do that loot run from rest area all the way up to transformer station, and you double back and hit these houses,
yep.
and you're set. And you may even find a
Hmm.
crate, like a red crate with a drop in it, and then
Yep.
head out. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But that was scrapyard. So
Yep.
the next named one
The guest
is
house.
guest house. Yeah, guest house. Guest house is the one that I think we talked about before in our looting one. Because it used
Yeah.
to be like one of the best houses for loot,
Yeah.
and it got
Rest in
when things
peace.
got yeah. We miss you, buddy.
Yeah.
It's not it does have some loot in it, but not like it was. It has some weapon crates
Yeah.
outside, on some picnic tables. Inside you can find like a lock container or lock box, I should say, not container, but a lock combination box can show up in it on the second
Oh,
floor. Maybe on the first floor too. I'm not 100% sure, but
yep.
and you might find a little bit of other loot in there too, but it's not
Yep.
huge. There's some vehicles outside, not much for loot. Like some of them might be able
Yep.
to, you might find some car loot in them. There's also potential
Food.
for food in
Yep.
along the garbage area. What else is there in guest house? Chems,
Bard house.
glass, nails. Oh, it can be barred. That's right. Yeah, it can be barred.
Yep.
There's a couple dig spots not far from it. One to the north,
Hmm.
just past the cars, like in the little trees
Yep.
by the road, and then also one to the east up the
Yep.
hill, away from the other little buildings there, and among the rocks. You can find a dig spot there too sometimes. And, the picture will be looking down from that dig spot at the guest house.
Yeah.
So you'll know which one it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be like the old man. It's like I remember the days when
I
like
remember the
guest house
day.
was like the best. Like Pepperidge Farm remembers that.
That's right.
Like oh my god, like it was
Doc and
so
DJ,
good.
remember?
Literally, yeah. You literally could just hit the guest house and be full up on loot and like I can't do anymore. Like it was that
It was
good.
that good.
Chat. Like oh my god, it was so good. But Yeah,
That was back
I
season
understand
4,
why.
season 5 days.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was season 5 when they did the loot
When they
distribution for a
nerfed it.
number of maps there, and it's
Yeah.
yeah, that's when it got hit. Which like I understand it, but at the same time, it was like just like that one spot is like it's so good.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it was.
next, the hideout. So we are going a little east
Little north and
and
east. Yeah.
to the north. Yeah. So this is basically like on top of like a hill. Um, pretty much
There's like a little
there's
path
like
that goes from the
yeah,
guest house. Yeah.
yeah, it's a little trail that winds along the side of the map, and it basically leads up to the top of the hill. Signal detector. There's like a little generator there, but literally
Yeah.
there's nothing directly there.
No.
Um, there's literally just signals, and again, this is one of those signal detector locations where if you don't get the spawn right next to it, odds are this signal detector is going to be of no use to you during this encounter.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a little closer than the
Unfortunately,
one to the north and the tent. But yeah, it's not much closer. And again, once
yeah,
all the fighting starts taking place farther away, no one's coming back to this signal.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just I think it's like the northwest of it at the bottom of the cliff. Actually, there's like a little like camping site.
Yeah.
You could get one of the one of the lighters. Like I think I found the Vigor lighter there.
Okay.
Just like a generic one.
Yeah.
I know we haven't really talked about like lighters on this map, but like this is just a common lighter that like I found a couple of times, but I have all my lighters, so
Yeah, same. Yeah, there's like one big lighter that's only found on this map, but
yeah,
then you can
special issue one.
potentially find a couple of the generic ones, like the foodie one, whatever the tomato lighter that
Yeah,
can be found in kitchens can be found in this one. The lucky lighter I think can be found on this map.
yep, yeah.
And then yeah,
The Vigor
the bigger
lighter, yeah.
lighter. Yeah.
So yep, that's
Um,
it for Hideout.
yeah. Then the next one is just south from there, sort of in between there and the guest house is the forest outpost. Again, not a lot happen is usually here, but almost every time you go, you'll find like at least one iodine.
Yeah,
So it's iodine, and that's in like the side tent, not the side tent, but like the southern tent. It'll have iodine. It can have a phone. It has a phone in here too.
yeah,
It's not far from that dig spot I mentioned as well when I talked about the dig spot at guest house. That's pretty close to here. And then the other
yeah,
tent can potentially have a red crate
okay,
with an airdrop in it.
yeah,
But that's it. That's essentially it. Iodine and that crate. Yeah.
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 So next we are talking about the gas station.
Yeah.
So gas station, we are somewhat uh not central of the map, but like a little south of the middle of the map,
Mhm.
kind of like across the street from the actual like train station,
Yeah.
gas station. So it is what it is. It's a gas station. There is actually quite a bit of fuel here.
Mhm.
So if you are looking for fuel, um, like if you look at the pumps, I think there's usually 1 to 2 canisters, and then there's like kind of like a little gated area where there's like I guess it's a propane cylinder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Within there, you get like 2 to 3 more fuel containers. Typically, there's some food there. You go inside the little like gas station building. There's usually a container there that you can get like sometimes metal parts. I want to say chems, but I don't think so. I don't know why I'm thinking
I'm not
chems,
sure.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe
there's
weapon
like
parts.
yeah, it's like the blue lootable containers
Yeah.
basically. And then again, just west of it, like a stone throw away, you have those long buildings that connect to the scrapyard. So you know, again, another good loot run right there.
Yeah.
And there, it's like you get all the good stuff. Um, where you have like uh, food, glass, fertilizer, metal parts. Time safe can be there, both in the long building and then
And in the gas
like
station.
in the gas station or like even in I want to call it like a garage or a lean-to type
Yeah,
thing just on
like
the other
where
side.
it
But
has
it's like
heavy
you
machinery part. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like do you consider that part of the warehouse, which is another POI?
Well,
But
it's like in between the warehouse and the gas station. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, and then there's like another like little shed just south of the long building too that can have the combination lockbox. The combination lockbox can be in the long buildings as well.
Yeah,
So yeah,
a lot
that's
in that little area. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of good loot.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, gas station is really good. A lot of good stuff there, but it's also highly trafficked. So a lot of people
Yeah,
pass near it or through it. So be on the lookout if you're near it.
yeah.
After gas station is the actual train station. Another really good area. There's like a lot here. As far as what you can find, there'll be fuel, fertilizer, nails, metal parts. That's the kind of resources. Weapon crates all around in this area. Combination lock boxes in a few different locations. There's even like a mini combination lock box that can be found in the train station next
Yeah,
to
yeah,
some of the doors.
yeah.
But in the offices, there can be a regular combination box and a couple other areas as well. Com station can be found in like sort of like a covered outdoor area between two of the buildings,
Yeah,
and that's
the
where some bunch
breezeway.
of weapon crates are. Disruptor tower could be also be right there. You can find the red crate in a few different, well, at least one location, maybe two locations in this building. Um,
Yeah, I'm thinking
and
on the bench inside the main area. That's
yeah,
the
and the
only
bench in the
place
main
that I
area.
found it.
We never talked about records, but you can find records here as
Yeah.
well. You can find records in a various number of the houses, but you can find records on the benches within here.
Hmm.
Vinyls, I should say. And then the station lighter this is where you'll find the station lighter in a few different areas, locations around this building. There's like an office, like a sort of a separate little office at one end of this building that can have it. Then you have the covered area that can have the comm station. Then you come into the main train station. The office area can have the lighter, and then there's a sort of like a mechanic sort of working area, which is like almost like another separate building, but it's all connected. That can have the lighter, and then along the benches on the outside, you can find the lighter.
Yeah.
So lots of different places you can look in around here for the lighter.
See,
Um,
I didn't know about the
yeah,
mechanic
yeah,
building having the lighter. I knew about
yep,
like the office space and like outside on the benches, but I didn't know about that one.
yeah. I found it there a couple times. And then there's other stuff in that mechanic area too that you can get like metal and all that kind of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think some people know of ways to get up on the roof. I've never been able to figure it out, but I think it
I
can be
still want
done.
to try to figure it out.
Yeah, one of these days.
Yeah.
Almost need like uh, you need like a small lobby where everyone gets killed off, and you can just run around and try some stuff out, or
Or at
everyone's
least like
doing
get
off
the spawn, yeah, or get the spawn like
near it.
closest right there, and
Yeah,
so you can
hmm,
goof off and whatnot. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. But that the main train station, a lot of good stuff are in and around it.
yep,
Yeah.
definitely for sure. Next, we're going to talk about the waterfall. So the waterfall, we're kind of going all the way east,
East from the train
kind of
station. Yeah,
east, yeah, east of the gas station on top of the hill.
yeah.
So directly there, usually there's a spawn point right there. There's signal towers that can spawn there.
Hmm.
If you go a little north, there's like a little trailer where you get fertilizer and food.
Yeah.
And then there's a building just down the slope where you get Bard
To the west
House.
of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to the west of it. Bard House is there, and like your typical house loot where you get glass and fertilizer. So it's a nice little spot.
Yep.
And there's also a garage. The garage can have a lockbox, and the
Mm-hmm.
house too in the
Mm-hmm.
washroom sometimes upstairs can have the combination lockbox. There's vehicles by the garage too, where like you get like electronics. I think there's even a fuel canister too, where like they usually store the garbage area uh, by the road. But yeah, that's pretty much that waterfall area and a little expanding area.
Yeah. 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 For sure.
Oh, and there's actually a dig
Um.
spot too, right there too. If you go like in front of the garage at the edge of the forested area, by the road.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's quite a bit around there. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Next from there is the warehouse, which is another. There's a bunch of spawns around it, not too far from it, anyways. Not around it, but
Mhm.
not too far from it. But there's a lot of stuff that can spawn here that are really good. Signals just to the south of it a little bit. Like with among the containers, like there's a bunch of little containers, like it's like a bunch of them stacked around there. There's signals can be in there along with a vehicle right next to them, a couple of vehicles next to them that can have car loot. Some dig spots not far from there too. When you go closer to the warehouse, you can find chems just outside the warehouse. Within the warehouse, you can find lock containers within it, or not within it, like combination lock boxes within there. Time vault can also be there in a couple of different locations, like within there and near that one you talked about before, where the heavy machinery sort of parked. You can find time vault there as well. Lock container just outside of it, just to the west of the warehouse, is a lock container, and that's one that can be pretty heavily fought over.
Yeah.
Because there's quite a few different spawns not far from it.
Yep.
And yeah, you gotta be careful with people like sitting in the
Yeah.
warehouse watching the container.
Yeah, it seems like there's always someone in the second story there looking out of those open doors.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Did I miss anything? Let's see. Fuel, chem, fertilizer, metal parts, car loot around. Yeah, all around it. Signals, lock container, battalion bolt, combination
Yeah.
lockbox. Yeah, that's pretty much
Actually,
everything. But there's a lot.
so
Yeah.
you mentioned like there's a cash spot, right, just south of the
Yep.
containers type thing, right?
Yeah.
But there's like a kind of like a barrier or barricade, like a concrete barrier.
Yeah.
But okay, I've been playing Vigor for like 2 years, and maybe like 4 to 6 months ago, I found out about the campsite cash spot. So there's a picture on
Oh yeah, that's what I always
Viktorsen
have trouble
Station.
finding.
So there's the campsite Vigor
Yeah.
on Viktorsen Station.
Yeah.
That campsite is south of the warehouse. So if you follow like the eastern side,
Jesus.
so if you're looking
Yeah.
at the map, right?
Yeah.
You have the warehouse. If you
Hmm.
follow that edge of the map, so it's you're kind of up the hill. If you follow that all the way, there's a campsite tucked in to that
Oh,
bottom right corner,
yeah,
and that's
that's
where
where
the
that
cache is.
is.
And
Oh.
it took me like I don't know how many encounters, and then like I said, 4 to 6 months ago, someone was like, "You don't know where this one is." I was like, "Literally, I know almost every cache spot on this map because I played so many." I'm like,
Yeah.
"I have no idea where this one is," and they're like, "Oh, well, this is where it is." I was like, so many times, like there's a
'Cause
few campsites here, right?
yeah.
But
There are a lot of
I
campsites, and I've
I've
gone
always
looking for
looked,
this one, but
yeah,
I've always assumed is in the northern area. I've never looked down down
yeah.
here.
So that's where it is, Doc. It's right
Oh,
there.
man.
So you basically like run through the
Yep.
campsite and then it's just there on the other side of it. It's like so there. Sharing the knowledge.
Oh, that's great. Now I know where that is if I remember.
Yeah.
That's where it's down there. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a tough
Yes.
one. Yeah, I've always wondered
Yeah.
where that camp was because yeah, same. I think I've known like where every other single one. There's one that could be hard to find that I have trouble with sometimes. It's along the one main road to the
Oh yeah.
west, and it's like it's near a parking sign. I've found that one multiple times. I know about where it is, but I know it's along that road. It's just where along that road exactly. I can never quite remember,
Yeah.
but I know it's along that road, so it's not. I'll find it eventually. But this
Yeah.
campsite, no clue.
Yeah. Well, there
Oh,
you
campsite. Yeah.
go. So
What's next?
tool shed. Tool
Tool shed.
shed, we are going kind of like pretty much 3/4 of the way west.
Almost
So we're
back at the resort.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're almost back at the resort. You're on top of a hill. Literally, all it is tool shed. So you could get like the combination lockbox. There's some floor loot around. You could get metal parts out of like some of the toolboxes around there. There's also like a nail box or two, some chemicals sometimes.
Yep.
If you're adventurous, there's a phone there as well.
Yep.
In there typically. There's a cash spot just a little north and little
In the
west, I
trees a
think.
little bit.
In
Yeah.
the trees, yeah, in the bushes. But aside from that, that's pretty much it for Toolshed.
Yeah, and then it's a spawn point, so like you'll spawn right close to
Yeah.
it quite sometimes. So you have like options when you spawn there. Like you'll loot this little area, but then do you go over to resort to see what's happening over there, or you start heading in towards the train station? You got, you know, if
Yeah.
the lock containers on the road by Barricade, you head off there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's like that brings into like question. It's like, hey, is there something at Lakeside Resort? You know,
yeah,
is there a point of you going there if there's nothing? Probably not, right? So you'd go
yeah.
towards
There's
station.
still the
So
loot, but you have better chances of, if you just go away from it, head off somewhere else rather than going to it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's Tool Shed, and then I think this is going to be like the last POI, and that's the camp.
Yep.
So definitely, if you're doing Tool Shed, you're going to go right to the camp. Usually, camp is
Hmm.
really good. It has a few different trailers. It's got a little camp, little like a tent set up. Signals can be right in the middle of everything, and then there's a bunch of different loot in the trailers and around, and including car loot all around this. So you can find fuel, electronics, fertilizer, metal parts, nails, wire, so almost
Hmm.
everything. Car loot, different things in the cars. Usually just more resources, though. I don't think there's too often where you'll find any tools.
No, maybe
Signals,
the one
yeah,
car. I think
maybe,
there's
yeah,
you get sometimes a port out of it.
yeah. Signals is like I said, right in the middle of everything. So and this is a signals that'll get used quite often, because it's not
Oh,
too far from the station. People will run over here, hit signals, and start running to hunt people.
yeah.
Um, and then going from here, you'd probably head over to the station. So
Yeah.
but yeah, and then to the south of here, getting closer to the exits, there's like a dig spot sort of in between the locked exit and the other western exit. There's like a little a felled tree behind a rock, like a big rock boulder
Yeah.
kind of thing, and there's a dig spot there. So if you ever start near there, it's always good to check that little dig spot.
Yeah.
That one southern exit from here is kind of an exposed exit. Like, it seems really exposed when you go to it.
It,
um
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It is like a massive
it's a big exit.
exit point, right? Like
Yeah,
you don't think you're actually in the exit, and then you see the countdown. Like that's like in a way it's a nice thing because like you could get there and it's like the countdown could go, and then you keep running to try to get shelter because there is kind of like a rock formation that you can kind of like go around to get cover. But yeah, I
yeah,
definitely agree. It is like deceiving as how big that thing is and
yeah.
whatnot. Um,
And the other southern
and
exit that's off to the west is one that's across a bridge, and then it's also pretty exposed too if you're going to that
yeah.
one.
Well, see, you for that one, see, I don't understand why people go on the bridge
Yeah,
on the
because you can
road.
go under it, I think, too, right?
Yeah, no, not even you could if you
No?
go down into the water and then you go east, like follow the rock formation.
Yeah.
If you go east, you're tucked in and you're in the exit.
Oh,
And
you
like
hit that
you're
other exit. You're in between, but
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's still the same one. It's still part of that
Oh,
same
okay.
exit on top of the on the road. Um,
Oh, okay.
so I never really understood why people went up on the road. Is if you just follow the rock formations, and then you go like I think you have to take a couple steps into the water, but then you're right there in the exit. You're tucked away because
Okay.
most people who are going to chase you are coming probably from, let's say, northeast,
Right.
after you, most likely. So if you come around, it's almost like you're doing a U-turn behind a wall, and then by the time they get there, you you're gone. So
Right. Yeah.
if you go on top of the bridge and whatnot, it's like there's absolutely no cover. It's like good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's very exposed if you're up top. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for the all the named POIs. Now we're also going to talk about the two locked exits.
Yep.
There's the northern exit, and um, I'll let you talk about this one. But before we get there's near this locked exit, um, sort of you can see there's a little road that goes west. and it's sort of a squiggly road. In the trees off to the west there's a dig spot. Um, that when you see the picture, it could be a little odd to try to figure out, because it looks like you're looking at like a one of those guardrails, and then it's up in some trees, and that's that dig spot there, and it's close to this exit. Yeah. But anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, the northern exit.
So the northern exit, you're going into the tunnel. There's train cars that are already like popping out or sticking out of there, but there's doorways open. So you can kind of have to watch out that there's people in there sometimes. Um, and then you have to be careful, obviously, because people could be up and around. But if you go in, it's what, two
Two
electronics,
electronics.
I think.
Yeah.
So you go up to like a little computer station, give your two electronic things, a gate opens, and then you run it up there, and then it's kind of neat because there's like a living quarters almost once you get all the way back there, and you can
A
actually
little
get
rest
like
area.
food crates. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like little food crates, a rest area. It's like, hey, you did a good job. Like,
Yeah.
kick up your feet, enjoy some food. It's
But as soon as you cross that gate, the countdown starts. So if you want to try to
yes.
get the food, what I like to do is delete maybe some ammo just to make some room for it if I'm full, and then head straight for that food to try to get it, just to get the little extra XP, a little bit.
Yeah,
You don't get any
just
materials for food, but you get XP for it. So
yeah, I definitely want to prep for it if you're going to try to like loot that as well, like you said. So yeah,
that's the northern
and
exit.
yeah. So let's go to the southern exit.
Yeah, and then the southern exit, that one's not as fancy, but it is close to a bunch of things, and sometimes people like to be up in the trees watching it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've had it happen, not often, but I have had it happen.
yeah,
But yeah, the southern exit, it's just pretty much you go in. It's open, not as hidden as the other one. It uses 10 wire to unlock it, and then once you've unlocked it, you have to sort of go around and into this gate that opens up. There's nothing in there. Like once you get in there, it's the countdown's happening. You can kind of hide
yeah,
behind a container or one of those fuel kind of container train cars or whatever.
yeah,
If you want to get yourself less exposed. But yeah, there's not much here. Probably that's why it costs wire instead of
yeah,
like electronics. Who knows? Um,
yeah,
and you have to be kind of careful if you're running for this exit and it's like the radiation's coming at you and you're like in your last sliver of health, you could get caught up as you're trying to get in.
yeah.
And I've had that happen to me. Like I paid the 10 wire, I tried to get
Yep,
into the door, but I got caught and then I died. I
yep,
was like, that fraction of a second, I could have made it
yeah.
out. So if you're really running, you got to be really precise in your movements.
Yeah. I actually have a clip of someone. So I was chasing someone with the container or
Yeah.
the airdrop down the
Okay.
tracks, and they went for that exit. They literally unlocked the exit, and as they were trying to go through the door, I went prone, and then I got a headshot on them literally in the doorway. And I felt so
Oh
bad
man.
after because it's
Yeah.
like he's literally in the doorway, and I was like, oh, he's right there. He was like free. He was home free, and
He was almost like, he's like, I can
I
smell
recalled
the
him.
freedom.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, it was so bad.
Oh
It
no.
was naughty. But as you were saying about like people like kind of like being in the trees here, uh, my my gut feeling is why this one is more common than the one up north is because you have a spawn point literally right there,
Yep.
and because there is more traffic at this exit compared to the northern one,
Yeah.
um, right? Because
There's
there's
a
so
lot
much
more
more loot.
near this exit, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly. So the odds are you're going to see more people come towards that exit. Now, personally, myself, the locked exits here, I'm cheap. I've said this before. I'm cheap. I want to keep my loot. I'm not using the locked exit. I have no qualms running over to the next one over to save myself 10 wire or the 2 electronics. But if time is of the essence, sure, I'll do it. But and same thing, if someone's on my if someone's on my tail, I'll do it. But if I have a choice, I'm going to either, if it's north, I'm going to that northern west exit, or that kind of like middle southern exit type thing that's very open.
So I use the electronics one a lot. I'll say, because if I'm doing the whole run, I don't need electronics for my shelter at all anymore. So like I'm just getting the electronics for the loot value and maybe the experience. So losing 2 electronics isn't a big deal to me. I really, so like if I'm doing the whole loot run and it's getting close to the end, I'll run to that exit. Because I know there's a less chance of someone being at that exit than there is at the other 2. Because the one to the east, people like to watch, and the one to the north can also be watched sometimes too. Like I have had times where I'm running to one of those exits, the birds go off, and you know they're a little bit more exposed. Whereas the one with the electronics, I never run into anyone, watching that one. So
it's happened, but it's not
not as often. Yeah,
but I know you don't need any more electronics. I don't need any more electronics. I'm just cheap. I'm going for the loot value. I just want to climb that leaderboard, and I can't afford to give up the.
Plus, I know there's a good chance of getting food, which is more XP. So like, I'll spend the 2 electronics and make the room so I can get, because there could be quite a bit of food in there. Like you can get 2 to 3 things of food, so you can get a lot of food.
I will counter that with, if you go towards the other exit, there's like a little kind of like rest stop just further up north, right? Close to the exit, where there's like a truck, and then you could get loot out of like a couple of cars, and there's like a food crate there, and then in the exit there's like a trash bin there too. So I'm going to try to
a trash bin with a little bit of food, not the same.
No, but
I want the trash food. I want the
by the side of the
I want the crate food.
No, there's a crate there, but you can get fertilizer and other stuff too.
But, but there's a spawn point near those things, and so if I spawn near them, I'll get that stuff and never go to that exit, right? So there's a chance someone could have spawned there, grabbed all that stuff, and then you run over there and there's nothing there.
No. Not everyone's the loot hound like us, Doc. I'll take my chances.
True. Yeah. But that is Viktorsen.
So like I said, I love this map. This is one of my favorite maps. Like it has everything. Like if you love loot, this has a ton of loot. You could have very, very good high loot value runs. If you want fights. If you want fights, it's the biggest lobby you could get. Just like Phil Canton and Fisk. So it's basically has everything for everyone. Honestly, it is very versatile, because you could have like that kind of like I kind of want to call it urban combat, because there's a lot of buildings in the one portion, and then you have like a forested area and wide open spaces. So it has everything. It's so diverse. Viktorsen Station is the first map I had my first thread on. And it's like, I still remember it. It was with the VZ52, and it's like, I was shocked. I wasn't expecting it, but hey, I got it. But it's not the reason why I like it. It for all those previous reasons I just said. It is such a great map.
No, it's also one of my favorites. I always love it when it's up. It's like you said, it's a great loot map, but it's also it's a big map, but it's also kind of condensed in a way too, because like a lot of it around the outskirts is not it's kind of sparse. There's not a lot, except for a couple of different pockets in each area. But then when you get to the central area, that's where there's a lot of loot, a lot of chances to have some fighting. So it's just it's just a great one, because the last map we have to talk about, which I'm not sure when we'll get to it, but in the near future, I'm sure. Right now is the forest map, which is another one I really like for loot runs
Okay.
because there's so much fuel on it. But that one is like one of those. It's really long and really big,
Yeah.
and yeah, there's a lot of chances to fight, but it's really easy to go a whole match on that one and never see anybody.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, a lot better chance you're going to run into people.
Yeah. We actually
It's
haven't
a good
done
place.
battery either.
We have done.
Did we do
I thought
battery?
we
I didn't
had.
think we did.
I
Oh
could be
my god,
wrong, but
it's
I
been
thought
so
we
long.
had. Yeah,
Okay,
it may
never
have been a
mind.
long time ago.
Yeah, okay, maybe it's been so long that I don't even remember doing it.
I could be wrong. I thought I
I
had
could be
seen
wrong too,
battery in
Doc.
our list of episodes, and
I
I'm
could be
just
wrong.
scrolling through them, and I'm actually not seeing it. So you're right. We might have to do
Okay,
battery still too.
okay.
Well, there we
So,
go. So it might be a
uh,
couple more map ones to go.
yeah. Either way,
Yeah,
we've done a lot of them.
we have done a
But
lot.
yeah, it is. Yeah, I love Station, and like you
Yep.
said, uh, if it's up, it's like odds are I'm going to be going there.
Yeah.
And I don't. I don't know. It's fun because a lot of people like it, and it's like we have a viewer Seb who like if station's up, it's like he's like he tries to queue in all the time because he loves it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's.
uh,
I'm just trying to think. It's probably my favorite snow map. Yeah, for sure. And then
even
overall, it's probably one
even
of my top maps, just general. Yeah.
more than Diverg,
Like,
force wise
well,
or
the
snow wise.
Verg,
I mean,
snow wise, because the Verg, I love the Verg for the loot runs you can get out of it, but it's kind of boring because you're always doing the same kind of runs with the Verg. It's still a good map, but Viktorsen, even if you're doing a similar loot run, someone may have gotten some loot first, and you have to alter and got to find loot within the houses, and it's just there's more. It's a little bit more.
it's more predictable. I
Yeah,
find.
yeah,
Like trying to figure out where people are going and whatnot, or if you see something looted, you could it's easier to figure out, okay, this person probably went this way type thing. So
yeah,
yeah, no,
and then
I get it. Yeah, I was just curious because like you said, Diverg has like the loot value, right? It is
yeah,
the
if
mecca.
I'm going for loot value, for sure, it's Diverg. Like
It it
you
is
can
the
get the
mecca,
30
right?
to 20 to 30,000 loot value out of Diverg. This one you won't maybe get as high, but
No,
you'll
you
still
get
get
very
you'll still
solid
do well.
runs.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, but yeah, and like you kind of mentioned, right? The central locations, it's like everyone just kind of flocks like it. I remember you might remember too, Doc. I don't know, but like when they released Sogbrook, they
mhm.
talked about like the design of the map with the sawmill being the center point, and the intention was to kind of like they even use the how to describe it, basically like a moth to a flame type thing, right? So that's what they wanted. So
Yeah,
this is literally pretty much that on this map,
yeah.
where it's like everyone flocks to like pretty much the middle,
The middle, the station, the
the
tracks
yeah
kind of areas. Yeah.
the residential area, just because like that's where it's at, right? So
Hmm.
but yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
love it.
Yeah, but yeah, that's Viktorsen. We're the next episode. We might have something special for the next episode. We're not going to say too much, but we're hoping. Fingers
Yep.
crossed. We'll have a good an interesting special episode next time. But yeah, but in a couple of weeks we'll see you again. Hope you're having a great Easter. When
Yep.
when you see this, when we post it, it's just going to be near the end of Easter of the long weekend. So
Easter Monday. Yep.
you'll be on Easter Monday. So hopefully you had a great holiday. Had some good
uh,
food with your family.
oh yeah, I
Um,
already had my Easter meal tonight,
did
and
you?
I'm struggling. I not just because my son hasn't been sleeping well, but like literally I stuffed my face, uh, and it was so good, Doc.
Oh, good.
It was so good. Lots of dessert too.
Nice. Yeah. My
But anyways,
We don't really do the traditional Easter meals. Like we usually we'll go visit my mom and we'll probably have some food or whatever, but it won't be anything like it's not like a Christmas meal for us. It's just like a standard kind of get together
mm.
with my mom and
Yeah,
you know,
and that's the important part, right?
yeah,
So
exactly. But again, please like, share, subscribe again, just to say it out loud again. We appreciate
yeah,
it. But until next time, I'm Doc Anton.
And I'm DJ Spencer.
And stay safe in the Outlands and have a great night. Bye.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter. Good.
Lost your way again. You don't see your reflection. Just look around and find at least something good. All you need will come to you. I'll never refuse you. Take whatever you want, so just get home. I know you'll find your way. No need to go the same. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. I know you'll find your way. You must be calm anyway. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. Flame up your dream. It's time to leave the place where you are forced to fade away. You barely breathe, heart is breaking in the chest. I'll make you feel that it's not real. Your thoughts because of which you believe. I'll never refuse you. Take whatever you want, so just get a hold. I know you'll find your way. No need to go the same. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. I know you'll find your way. You must be calm anyway. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. Flame up your I know you'll find your way. No need to go the same. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. I know you'll find your way. You must be calm anyway. Grab your chance and flame up your